Let's talk about Black Friday. You had your biggest sale in history. The marketing team is popping champagne all over the place. The Shopify dashboard shows a record revenue spike, $20 million last month. But 3 weeks later, the CFO walks into your office with a different report. You oversold the inventory you didn't have. You paid expedited shipping on 700 orders because the warehouse was in chaos. And because you didn't calculate your landed cost correctly, you actually lost money on every single unit you sold at a discount. This is what I call the Shopify Mirage. The top line looks amazing, but the bottom line is bleeding. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Shopify. It's the best e-commerce platform in the world for selling. But here is the truth that Shopify's marketing won't tell you. Shopify is not an operating system. It is a storefront. It is a cash register. It is not a warehouse management system. It is not an accounting system, and it is definitely not an ERP. Hi, I'm Noel Benjamin Dcosta, and I advise global brands on how to scale their technology. In this video, I'm going to explain the mathematical breaking point where running your business on Shopify alone becomes dangerous. I will show you the difference between a storefront and a brain and how to fix your operations before your next Black Friday destroys your margin. To fix this, we have to define what these tools actually do. So there is a massive misconception that Shopify Plus is an ERP. Shopify is designed for demand generation. It displays beautiful images, it processes your credit cards, it converts your traffic into orders. It is the waiters in the restaurant. They sell the food. An ERP like NetSuite or Odoo or Dynamics or SAP is designed for demand fulfillment. It buys the raw ingredients, it manages the kitchen, it tracks the profit on every single plate. It is your chef and your accountant. So here is the problem. When you started, you were small. The waiter, in this case is Shopify, could only run into the kitchen and cook the burger. But now you're doing around $10 million a year. You have 100 tables, and the waiter cannot cook, serve, and do the accounting. If you force Shopify to run your operations, the kitchen catches fire. So what do most businesses do when Shopify starts to break? They buy apps. So inventory is messy, let's download an inventory app. If the returns are slow, let's download a returns app. And if accounting is hard, let's download a connector app. Suddenly, you're not running a business, you're running a Franken-stack. You have 50 different apps costing you around $4,000 a month. None of them talk to each other properly. And when an order breaks, the inventory app blames Shopify, and Shopify blames the returns app. Now, that is technical debt. You're trying to patch a hole in the hull of a ship with a duct tape. At $1 million, duct tape works, but at $10 million of revenue, the ship sinks. So how do you know if you hit the ceiling? So I usually use a 5-point framework called the scale ceiling. If you are struggling with these 5 things, you need an ERP immediately. So S is for the supply chain visibility. So Shopify tracks the quantity and it says you have 10 shirts, but an ERP tracks time. So an ERP tells you you have 10 shirts, but 50 are on a boat from China arriving in 12 days. Based on your sales velocity, you will stock out in 8 days. So, hey Dave, I've already created a PO for the next batch. Now Shopify can't do that, and ERP can. So C is costing, that is the profit killer. This is where you lose the most money. So Shopify usually uses an average cost. But if you import goods, you have a landed cost. So you have freight, you have duty, you have insurance, you have tariffs. And ERP takes that $10 shirt, adds the $2 freight and the $1 tariff, and tells you the true cost is $13. Now, if you don't know your true cost, you are setting your discounts blind, and so you are bleeding margin. Now, A is for accounting. So Shopify sends you a payout. So they deposit $50,000 into your bank, but that $50,000 is a mix of 1,000 orders minus fees, minus refunds, plus taxes. So your poor accountant spends 3 days a week trying to reconcile that one deposit. And ERP automates that. It matches every penny instantly. L is for logistics, multi-location. So if you have one warehouse, Shopify is fine. If you have a warehouse in LA, one in New York, and a 3PL in London, then Shopify struggles to route the order intelligently to save shipping costs. Now, an ERP, on the other hand, is a logic engine. It calculates the cheapest and the fastest route automatically. E is for expansion. So you want to sell wholesale items to Walmart or Costco. Now, they don't pay with credit cards, they pay with net 60 terms. And they need EDI integrations. And they need complex price lists. Now, Shopify is built for B2C, whereas an ERP is built for B2B. So does that mean you have to delete Shopify? Absolutely not. So Shopify is the best salesman you have. You don't fire your best salesman. You hire him a support team. So what does the architecture look like? So Shopify stays on the front end and it manages the customer, the brand, and the checkout, and the ERP sits behind it. And we connect them via an API. So here is the workflow. So the customer buys on Shopify. Shopify sends the order to the ERP. The ERP checks the inventory across all the warehouses, and the ERP routes the order to the warehouse. The warehouse then ships it, and the ERP tells Shopify it's shipped. And then Shopify emails the customer. So the customer never knows that the ERP exists, but the CFO knows, because now the data is perfect. So when do you write the check? Because ERPs are expensive, NetSuite or Acumatica will cost you between $50,000 to $100,000 a year. So the rule of thumb is, if you're operating between $0 to $1 million, stay on Shopify. Use Xero, use spreadsheets, and keep it lean. If you're operating between 1 million and 5 million, you are in a danger zone. You're feeling the pain, so start planning. And if you're above $5 million, you must have an ERP. If you don't, your overhead costs, which is hiring people to fix data, will exceed the cost of the software. So at $5 million, an ERP is cheaper than the mistakes you are making without one. Don't let the Shopify Mirage fool you. Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. And Shopify gives you revenue, and ERP protects your profit. So if you're a retailer scaling past that 5 million mark, you are likely hitting another problem I haven't mentioned yet. You are probably still using QuickBooks or Xero to manage your finances, and it's starting to crash. Now, there is a specific signal that tells you when QuickBooks is about to die. So watch this next video, which is QuickBooks is not enough. I explain exactly why accounting software fails for high-growth brands and what to replace it with. So I'm Noel Benjamin Dcosta. Stop hacking, start scaling, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.